Welcome to M Squared TechCast.
Hey, it's Matt Roush.
And Mike Brennan.
And we're back with another segment of the M Squared TechCast right here at podcastdetroit.com in Royal Oak.
Yes, now MITech TV as well, so you'll be able to watch. And we have with us a partner of mine, business partner of mine, Anthony Sabatella. And he's with THC 123, with Canna Jobs here, just all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I got a couple pans in the fire, so to speak.
Yeah, as you know, we're covering the marijuana business industry because it's an outstanding opportunity for entrepreneurs out there, but not a low-cost opportunity. I mean, when I first got introduced to a lot of these folks, I was thinking of the old world where it was, friends growing a couple of plants in the backyard, no big deal, but this is serious business.
Yeah, now it's just friends growing a couple thousand plants.
Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. You're talking hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars to get into this business.
I would say so. Unfortunately, there is some sort of cost barrier to interact with the commercial cannabis industry. But what I tell people, especially those who may not come from such a strong capital background, that take a look at the ancillary services, take a look at how you can help this industry succeed. Because as I mentioned to you before, Mike, there's two types of experts. There's experts in cannabis and there's experts of cannabis. Now, an expert of cannabis is just what it says, a person who is an expert in and of the plant and the different type of cannabinoids in that plant. An expert in cannabis is an expert in one's particular field who is looking to help support the cannabis industry, and
which is what you are. I mean, you come out of a family. Your dad has America's Back Office. Why don't you explain what that's all about?
Yep. So my dad owns America's Back Office, ABO for short. We are probably the largest privately held PEO in the Midwest. We process payroll and HR outsourcing services for small and medium-sized businesses all throughout the United States.
And so what you've done is gravitated into, because we're talking about the industry right now. Every time I turn around, somebody wants 40 workers here or 50 workers there. A Common Cause is having a job fair where they're looking for 40 workers. Everyone's looking for workers, and you can help them find those workers, right?
Yep, that's kind of what I was taking a look at in this industry when I decided to take the plunge, is how can I help all of these different cannabis and CBD businesses in an outsourced basis, help them with their businesses. And the key piece of that is employment and HR. Every business has employees. Every business has human resources. But unfortunately, in such a distinct emerging market, it may be difficult to internalize those processes for a fair cost, especially being a startup business. So why not outsource that for pennies on the dollar?
Sure. And then I didn't go to the Grand Rapids conference as you were there 2 weeks ago. So how did that go?
I thought the Grand Rapids, the West Michigan Cannabis Expo, I thought it was lights out. For the first cannabis conference over on the west coast of the state, I thought Chris Hudson and his team over at the Deltaplex Arena did a wonderful job. We were one of the lanyard sponsors. We had a table set up there helping the different participants in the expo, both with their payroll and HR outsourcing needs, but also the attendees, getting them signed up for my Canna Jobs accounts, having them take a look at the industry job board, and really just putting all the pieces in motion that will help this industry grow.
And then this past weekend, I typically don't work Saturdays, but I was working this Saturday.
Oh, yeah, you were. I saw you out there.
So we were at downtown at the former Cobo, now TCF Center, and that was Cannabis Aid, and that was for a second year. Actually, the first year didn't go off so good, but this year I thought for a second-year conference, it wasn't that bad. You had, I'm guessing, 35, 40 vendors.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought Thomas's event went very well. I really like Thomas's approach and the whole Cannabis Aid vision of that event. It's really bringing all the industry players together, both in the cannabis industry, but also in local government and also in technology, and I think bringing in the government piece is crucial because, as we all know, it's the government politics that really got this industry in motion and really brought it to the forefront of common culture.
And then I moderated, I had the unfortunate luck to have the last session and the last day, but long weekend. But so we did a little town hall, just answered questions about that. And one of the things you brought up earlier was you don't have to be a grower. There's lots of other services out there if you want to play in. For instance, we're publishing what's going on in the industry, business to business. We've had a number of different companies come in here that do delivery services, that do the lab testing stuff. I mean, not really intense, not that many cultivators or whatnot have come in yet. It's really all the other services that have come in.
Well, that's the thing that strikes me about this industry is that it needs everything that every other industry does, and not just ones that are focused with living things with agriculture, but it needs accountants, it needs security, it needs transportation, it needs, all of that stuff. It needs marketing and public relations. I mean, anything you can think of. So.
Takes a village to raise a child.
For our next guest, I hope you're listening there. I'll throw that out. We have 1, 2, 3.
Data. Yeah,
1, 2, 3 coming in next. So they all need broadband, right?
So what was the attendance like at both of these events? So roughly how many people would you say were there?
I think quick numbers from the Deltaplex. I heard 1,300 the first day, about 700 the second. So for a start-off conference with 2,000 attendees, open to general public, I thought that was great. Cannabis Aid. It's interesting that we're comparing these two conferences plus the third one that was this weekend was the High Times Cannabis Bazaar, and then next week is over in Chicago. Both of our friend Jason Raznick's Benzinga's commercial cannabis conference over in Chicago, and I think it's for the general public. They need to see the difference in the types of conferences to really get a full understanding of what was at each. The first conference over in West Michigan, that was open to the general public.
Yeah, this was more of a business.
Yes, this is a business to business.
And Chicago definitely is that.
Oh yeah,
and heavyweight investors and very successful Wally State players.
Yep, yeah, I've seen a lot of multi-state operators, CEO of Cresco Labs. CEO of Acreage Holdings.
The one in Chicago sounds like it's not just people having a good time and tasting tours and that kind of thing. This is the really heavy. This is the heavy duty business side.
The recreational markets is served more towards kind of the cannabis cup type atmosphere, where that's more of an open. Open, indulgent consumption type event, which I think it has a great place in the industry, and so does the the Benzinga event, and so does Cannabis Aid's event, tying in local government, tying in the C-level execs as well, because at the end of the day, all of the people at all of these events are tied to employment. Either they're a consumer of this market or they're an employee or employer in this industry, and we look to service all of them.
Yeah, right now, Michigan is the number 2 medical marijuana market in the country. Most of the folks that I'm talking to predict that in terms of the recreational side, it'll be somewhere in the top 5. It's hard to say how exactly it's going to play out. So, it's serious money is going into this business. And not all of it is in just getting high kind of stuff. There's the CBD products. There's all sorts of things that are more medicinal aimed at, right?
Yes, different type of topicals, salves, a whole bunch of different things. Like you said, the CBD industry as well. Hemp, the application
are these events
for
doing
hemp textiles, hemp adobe, in lieu of blacktop and concrete. A state like Michigan really should take a closer look at using these type of products that don't crack and crumble.
Fix the damn roads with hemp. How about
exactly? How about it? It's a fibrous plant. It stretches, it contracts and condenses with the Michigan weather. Why wouldn't we take a closer look at it?
It does, yeah. I actually sat in a couple of the hemp sessions, and in fact, I did a bunch of video interviews. I was kind of tired on Sunday, so I took the day off. But I'm going to produce those this week. But one of them was with this woman from Colorado that was a hemp expert, and I was saying, ag is number 3 industry in Michigan, and right now with these trade wars we got going on, I mean, you're not doing so good in Michigan. So she said, yeah, we got to get people plugged into hemp because it's a heck of a market.
Well, people have been talking about hemp fiber for clothing and whatnot forever, right? I mean, anything you can do with cotton or wool, you can do with hemp. Right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Grows 5 times faster, too. It's like bamboo, you know? So, how we doing on time, Dave? 2-3 minutes.
Cool.
Okay.
Right.
We can always talk on the Cannabis Bazaar, too, at High Times. It was down in Detroit. It was this Saturday and Sunday. High Times, one of our industry pioneers. They put on another great show here in Michigan. They had performances by Detroit's own Trick, Atlanta legend T.I., and then also West Coast legend Ice Cube was there to
put
perform.
on a little weight, but it did look like him.
Oh, so. That was an awesome show for anyone who's really into kind of the hip-hop culture. He really could put that show on, and, he's been doing it for 30 years, so, it's a testament to the fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, unfortunately, they didn't have edibles at this event. That was due to more of the Detroit Health Department put a kibosh on that. So I'd like to see how High Times is looking to rebound and respond, and see how we can have all of the industry members at the next event.
All right, this is the part of the show where we let you do a shameless plug for what you do.
Plug.
So why don't you talk a little bit about some of your businesses and how people can connect to them?
Yep. My business is THC 123. We have 3 services for the commercial cannabis industry. Number 1, we're a licensed PEO. We do payroll and HR outsourcing. Number 2, we're a licensed employment agency, can help you with your staffing, recruiting, and cannabis job board needs. And then lastly, we are a licensed insurance agency and can help with any property, casualty, life accident, and health needs for your cannabis business.
Got it all covered.
Yep.
Now you just got to get into small business loans, but as soon as that feds make it, move it from a Schedule 1 drug,
at least down to a Schedule 3.
Too, right?
There's still some different capital and different kind of financing mechanisms out there for the industry. So like I told you before, it's more of a who you know, not what you know sort of industry too. Yeah,
I know Steve Braddock is doing that big 3 million square foot facility over in Muskegon, and he does financing. So I was surprised to hear that. I'm not sure if I got all the details on that, but I'll have to get that. So.
All right. Anthony Sabatella, THC 123. Thank you very much for being here.
No problem. Thank you both.
All right.